Weekly Singularity. This will be the podcast format for the channel, and whenever I don't get something up on a daily video or I miss a week for some reason, do this weekly recap of everything that happened in the week and just cover, anything we might have missed. This week was a pretty big week in terms of pop culture, so let's just dive right on into it. First off, on Tuesday, we finally got the trailer for Dune Part 3. And of course, it looks great. And myself, I'm kind of excited because we're actually kind of getting a Paul Atreides trilogy finally. I mean, we've seen, we had the Lynch version and we had the Sci-Fi Channel miniseries, but and they tried to adapt Children of Dune, which was okay. But we're actually getting a Paul Atreides trilogy. Paul's story kind of ends at the end of Messiah, so this is a perfect way to do a trilogy. Now, if they'd only do the Leto 2 Sandworm movies or even do it as a mini series, that'd be kind of crazy to see. But the trailer looks great. Kind of weird that we got it this early because it comes out in December, but it's there, and we should have another trailer, probably maybe around August or September when Endgame hits theaters. That'd be a great time to release that trailer. If not, it'll be a little bit closer to December. Next up, we finally got the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Of course, this leaked a few months ago, and the trailer is, amazing. It got over 700 million views, set a trailer record, sets up some interesting theories of what might be going on in the movie. I mean, you see the hand in the trailer, and in Daredevil Born Again, the new season, Matt actually wears the Shadowland costume. Now, I had someone come at me and say, hey, it's not the Shadowland costume, but Charlie Cox says it's the Shadowland costume. That sets up an interesting theory that maybe that's the status quo in Hell's Kitchen at the time of Brand New Day, where Daredevil is leading the hand, possibly. Kind of cool. Now, just recently overnight, we saw that an effects artist came out and said that after that trailer leaked, they actually had to go in and redo everything, all the leaks and everything, all those scenes. They actually redid all the effects after that trailer leaked. Marvel Studios has actually announced a few new release dates and shuffled some things around. They moved the February 2028 date to July. They did not touch the May 2028 date, and then they added a couple in 2029. Now, I'm wondering what these movies are. Now, the July one is most likely Black Panther 3. That was originally set in February. We know Coogler's been working on it, that Denzel Washington's going to have a role in it. That was most likely going to be the February date. Now, the May date has not been touched in 2028, and that is probably going to be X-Men. We know there's a director, we know they're working on it, and that's going to be the perfect movie in that May slot to kick off Phase 7, whatever they're going to call it, the Mutant Saga, the new X-Men movie. So that's most likely going to be that May date. The other dates, who knows? Hopefully, we'll maybe learn more at Comic Con in July if they do a Hall H panel. And then also on Wednesday, we got the Snydercut anniversary, the fifth anniversary of the release of the Snydercut on HBO Max. Now, HBO Max spent $70 million to complete the Snydercut. And there's evidence that it actually wasn't worth it because people have to pay back then about $12 a month for HBO Max. There's a lot of people who signed up to watch it, but they didn't stick around. And a streaming service needs that recurring subscriptions to make things worth it. And apparently, a lot of those people didn't stick around, so it wasn't really worth the 70 million to do that, which makes what I'm about to discuss even funnier because Snyder was posting images leading up to the anniversary, and people thought, oh, he's hinting at a restoration of the Snyderverse. No, he was just counting down to the anniversary. And I think what he's really trying to do is because he's trying to build up his Instagram account. He was on a platform called Vero True Source Social. You might remember it, you might not. It was kind of like Instagram. They claim they didn't have an algorithm. He was the only one there, and there's like stories that he might have been friends with the founder or something like that, and they asked him to get and maybe bring his followers there. And he was really the only big person at that service. And now he's on Instagram and like posting these type of teases, get teased, follow him, and it builds up his build. But people, of course, thought, oh, he's trying to restore the Snyderverse. Paramount's going to announce it. Because like I said, the $70 million wasn't really worth it for HBO Max, especially in hindsight with like the whole streaming wars and how that all played out. And hey, we got a strong DC. A strong DC is good for each other. And I don't care what you say about the gun stuff. Superman was one of the best movies last year. I love that movie. I can't wait for Supergirl, Man of Tomorrow, Lanterns. Can't wait for all of that. I mean, Like I said, strong DC is good for Marvel, strong Marvel is good for DC. Just love it both. The other gaming news was the release of Crimson Desert. It finally came out on Thursday, and well, I got a lot of heat for saying this, but I wasn't going to play it because I know that Pearl Abyss had only made one MMO, one game in their past, an MMO called Crimson Desert actually started out as a prequel to Black Desert, and you can even see it in the interface. It's very similar to Black Desert. His stamina UI element is actually from Black. I don't know if you played that game, but Black Desert is an MMO, and I played MMO Ultima Online, or even Neverwinter Nights on AOL. 30 years. I've worked on MMOs. I worked on Star Wars Galaxies. I'm in the credits for Vanilla WoW. I've played the genre forever. I've played some Edge, and I've logged in Black Pearl Abyss's Black Desert from Desert 5. But I don't know if you've ever played MMOs from different regions. North America is very different than an MMO that's made in Korea. And Korean MMOs are generally known to be grind fests. And Black Desert is probably one of the worst examples of that. If you go into that game, you'll see people AFK on build up their skills because they have to do that. That's the only way. It's the only way to advance in that game. And also, there's crazy microtransactions and all that stuff, of course. So that and it's like, oh, okay, the Black Desert people are making a single player game that started as a prequel thing. I was not sold on it right away, but of course, the game got really hyped. There are a person in North America who, how can I say, is pretty forceful with the game. He was blocking X when they were asking for console footage. Now that guy just uh, frame of reference, their PR person. Remember, there was a PlayStation who called the Tester. He won the first season of the Tester. He was the winner, and he got gaming PR. So, um, but it's funny that now people are complaining about the controls. Everything that people familiar with Black Desert and Pearl Abyss were saying, hey, this is them here. Their controls are always janky. Their interface is bad. The games aren't great. They look very pretty, but they're not great games. And so, yep, that's what's happening. So if you're enjoying it, enjoy it. But um, hopefully, there's going to be better games coming out later this year. Pragmat is going to, and that's going to be great. That'd be great. The demo was good. And of course, there's going to be bigger games. Games with Double Seven just over the summer. It's going to be a wallet busting year. Fin- Finally, this week, it's finally here. Project Hail Mary is finally out. Now, I went to see it last Friday on 70 millimeter IMAX, and it was amazing. I've read the book. I've listened to the audio book. It's great adaptation. And now I've had people come to me and say it doesn't have everything from the book, and they're nitpicky details. Not spoiler, just one detail that people was where Roland Grace gets sent on the Hail Mary, and because of such a long trip, they get put into a medically induced coma. Now in the book, one of the reasons they sent him is his DNA um, was able to be put into a long coma like that. I mean, you have to have the right type of DNA back. And they left that out of the movie. And that's a little detail that takes a lot of explanation that you can't get into when you're trying to compress that book into you, you can't put that little detail. But the overall story is just there, and it's fantastic. They even the ending perfect, which I was really worried about when I read the book and listened to the audiobook. That ending of the book was so, and they actually made it better. The whole book is in first person from Grace's perspective, and the movie for the most part is. Everything in the movie is from his perspective. However, they added one little scene at the end that's not from his perspective that the book would have benefited from, and it made it even better than the book. It's amazing in IMAX. If you have a 70 millimeter IMAX near you to see it in that full format, it's great. If not, you can see it in IMAX, see it in theaters. People are saying it's the best since Interstellar. Personally, I like it more than Interstellar. It's kind of, if you imagine like E.T. crossed with Interstellar and a little bit of The Martian. It's this type of story as The Martian. Same author wrote the book, same person adapted the book to the movie. So Project Hail Mary is absolutely fantastic and it's absolutely worth seeing. So definitely see it in theaters. It's one of those movies that you wish you would have seen in theaters. So that does it for this first installment of the Weekly Singularity. I'll be doing daily videos as news pops up. We'll be doing live streams, and I'll be doing these little digest videos when needed. So be sure to like and subscribe below, and I'll see you all next time.